So I'm going to talk about the word today that is originalism. I've never heard of that word before, so I don't know where it's coming from, except I read one news article in the Toronto Star about originalism. And in the beginning of the article, they kind of introduced it as a term that was kind of close to, words and their meanings and things like that. The translation of poetry, the pitfalls of translating poetry from one language to the next, having it sort of lose the original intent and meaning of the author. So that's the context they introduced it in, and then they kind of went on to bring it into a political realm. Politics is definitely an inspirational force when it comes to artwork. But I think on the political side, they were really kind of driving home the constitutional rights and what founding fathers actually mean when they do write charter rights, constitutional rights, the basics of how a country is engendered. So they were talking about originalism as it kind of relates to conservatism and the way people try to maintain what their constitutions basically tell them. Unfortunately, just as it happens in the arts and just as it happens politically, things don't always work out exactly as you had originally intended. So that's sort of where it lies in terms of a definition. I didn't specifically say anything about the definition, but I mean, you can probably garner. You're smart people. You can probably garner what originalism is. Just as a quick note on the art thing. I mean, I have a degree in art. Originalism is somewhat important to digital artwork, as it does seem that on the surface anyway, if you take a piece of art and you sort of have that translated or digitally copied, it kind of maintains its fidelity. It kind of remains, it maintains its original sort of, structure, etc. on the level of, bits and bytes. But the arts also very much play, especially new media, like they very much play with the ability to have things translated in different contexts and in different environments, et cetera, et cetera. And it's all about, customization and individualization of any sort of interactive work. You can see that plainly today in things like, Facebook and, everything becomes, while there is some to be said about originalism in terms of like maintaining, certain, site behaviors and certain sort of, functions and things like that. Those things do remain the same across the board. It's just that within the containers of original and original intent and structure, et cetera, there gets filled in an individual personality, and that changes how things behave, et cetera, et cetera. So it's almost like it's kind of like an abstraction that kind of submerges the original intent and the original functionality to a certain level, and things just kind of get pumped up and made into something else. What does it have to do with atheism? I would say that atheism kind of deals with similar concepts in terms of like individualizing something and moving away from doctrinal text, from dogmatic text, dogmatic rules, et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, those things do come into play, and I'm sure they come into play on the religious side as well. But that's my little blurb on originalism. I can hear some music coming on right now, so that probably means I should go. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.